the G20, this will be one of the last times you will see Barack Obama. As you well know, there is an American election underway, and as you well know, there is a choice in that between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Who would you rather have at the other end of the telephone if there is a geopolitical situation, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton? Do you have a feeling at all?
Мне бы хотелось иметь дело с человеком, который может принимать ответственные решения.
I would like to work with a person who can make responsible decisions
Исполняет достигнутые договоренности.
and implement any agreements that we reach. Their last name doesn't matter.
Конечно, нужно, чтобы этот человек пользовался доверием американского народа, тогда у него будет
Of course, it's necessary for that person to enjoy the trust of the American people,
определенная политическая воля для того, чтобы
so
исполнять
that they
эти
won't just
договоренности.
have the desire, but also the political will to fulfill all those agreements.
Не вмешиваемся, не собираемся
Therefore, we
вмешиваться,
never
не вмешиваться
intervened,
в
do not
внутриполитические
intervene, and
процессы.
try not to intervene in domestic political
Внимательно
processes.
смотреть, что происходит.
We will closely monitor
Ждать
what happens and wait for the election results.
Но
And then we
потом
will be ready to
готовы
work
работать
with
с любой
any
администрацией, если
administration
она сама
if it
этого
itself wants that.
Can I just push you on that? Back in 2011, you accused Hillary Clinton of seeking to trigger the protests that you were facing in Russia at the time. And by contrast, when I was just looking at some of the things that Donald Trump has said about you. Back in 2007, he said Putin's doing a great job. In 2011, he praised your no-nonsense way. Next year, he said you were his new best friend. Next year, he said you were outsmarting the Americans. He said you have good ratings together. I could go on and on like that. But are you really telling me that if you have a choice between a woman who you think may have been trying to get rid of you and a man who seems to have this sort of great affection for you, almost sort of bordering on the homoerotic, you're really going to you're not going to make a decision between those two, because one of them would seem to be a lot more favorable towards you?
Ну, вы знаете, я уже по сути ответил на ваш вопрос.
You know, I essentially already answered your question. I'll reformulate it again in different words. We are ready to work with any president, but of course I also want to say that it depends on how ready the future administration is. If someone says that they want to work with Russia, we will welcome it. And if someone, as you said, although it may be a poor translation, wants to get rid of us, that will be a completely different approach. But we will survive it, and it's not clear who has more to lose with that approach. But the thing is, I have repeatedly seen the anti-Russian card played during domestic political campaigns in the States. I think that it's a very short-sighted approach. At the same time, they send us all sorts of signals from all sides that actually things are just fine. In previous administrations, that's the way it was during the campaign. We will restore everything later. You know, it seems to me that it doesn't fully meet the level of responsibility that lies on the shoulders of the US. I think that all this should be more dignified, calm, and more balanced.
По поводу того, что нас кто-то критикует, вы знаете, и со стороны
As for the fact that someone is criticizing us, you know, criticism is leveled at us by Mr. Trump's team as well. For example, one of the members of his team said that that Russia allegedly paid money to the Clinton family via some foundations. What's that? Does that mean that we control the Clinton family? It's, of course, I don't even know where Bill spoke and through which funds.
Через какие фонды. То есть это просто и одной и второй стороной разыгрывается в качестве.
So both one side and the other side are using it as a tool in domestic political struggle, and that's bad in my opinion.
Разумеется, когда
But obviously, when someone says that they want to work with Russia, we will welcome it, regardless of what last name that person has.
Can I ask you one last question on Donald Trump? Some people say that he is too volatile to be an American president. You would be happy with him an American president in the same way as you would be happy with Hillary Clinton in that role.
Вы знаете, мы не можем отвечать за американский народ.
You know, we can't answer for the American people. After all, with all the shock tactics of not only one but the other candidate, they are both using shock tactics, just each in their own way. They are smart, they are very smart people. They understand which buttons you need to press a bit so that the voters of the United States understand, feel and listen to them. Trump is focusing on the traditional Republican electorate, people with average incomes, the working class, a select group of entrepreneurs, and people that support traditional values. Mrs. Clinton is focusing on a different part of the electorate and is trying to influence them in her own way. So that's why they attack each other. In some cases, I wouldn't want us to follow their lead. I don't think they are setting the best example. But that's the US political culture. You have to just accept it as it is. America is a great country and it has earned the right that nobody outside should interfere with it or comment on it. To answer your question for a third time, we will work with any administration, with any president who will win the support of the American people, if of course they want to cooperate with Russia.